Hello, welcome to March 28th, 2023. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video, something that I do each and every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 4:38 a.m. I do this in order to remember my life objectives, the Good Life Creed, as I call it, which is outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours, including last night, and how I slept and how I lived yesterday, and in particular, how I handled the challenges and opportunities that came my way. Then I conclude with a forecast of the day ahead, thinking about where I might have opportunities and where challenges might be lying in the next 24 hours, so I can plan for those. Before I get started, I did want to make a note. I was in the Discord last night talking to Michael. We had such a nice chat, Michael. Thank you for that. And Michael asked me about my tumor. He asked in a very circumspect way. Thank you, Michael, for your discretion, which I'm an open book. I don't mind sharing anything. In particular, he was worried about it because I had mentioned it before, but then had provided no follow-up. But I had made plenty of videos talking about not feeling well, so I could see how that could give an impression. So the thing with the tumor, the thing that's in my side right here, I can feel it right now. I'm scheduled for surgery later in April to have it removed. I still don't know what it is. The doctors are, think it's nothing, but there was an urgency in there. They were pretty insistent to get it out. 2 doctors said, get that thing out of you. So after it's been in me for a long time, but it's definitely getting bigger, and it's grown a friend. So it's the friend part that has me most worried. So anyway, I'm going to have that removed. So I don't think that that's contributing to my feelings of ill health. I think it's a combination of the fact of COVID and now allergies and just getting old. But that's the note on that. Let's begin. So yesterday and last night, slept all right last night. They were doing construction down the street, electrical work, so they had the entire street blocked off, and I could hear through the open windows. I couldn't hear the ocean, but I could hear the construction crews working. That kept me up, and the power went off around 10. The scheduled outage into the wee hours, so Yumiko came to bed early. She usually stays up pretty late. After the house is in tableau. And then later when the power went on, things went back on. It was interesting. I had to get up and turn things off. So I didn't sleep so well last night, so I'm a little bit out of sorts right now. Yesterday was a good day. Just, on top of my work. I had a good day of work. I'm reading this collection of writing from Jens Peter Jacobsen. And what did I read just this morning? I actually was doing a little bit of reading before I turned the camera on. And he was talking here about how Jens had basically resigned himself to a more humble, simple life. I don't know why I just thought of this, but there was this passage right here. And he's talking about that life. He says, what a joy it was, too, when he'd worked till he was tired, to go to bed and gather strength and sleep, and to spend it again, as regularly as day and night follow one upon the other. Here's the part I liked. Never hindered by the caprices of his brain, never having to handle himself gingerly, like a tuned guitar, with loose pegs. And he goes on to say about the life of, he's a farmer now. He says, there were no Sisyphus stones in agriculture. That's how yesterday felt. There were no Sisyphus stones. Nothing to push up the side of the hill just to roll back down of its own accord. I just did my duty, as Emerson would say. I did my work. And it was a good day. And I had a nice evening with my wife. We always have a nice evening. She made an incredible meal. And we had a nice walk together on the beach with the dogs, and we had a nice walk together at lunchtime as well. I had a nice talk with Michael played my guitar while Michael and I talked over Discord. And anyone's welcome to come to the Discord. Just go to goingalone.org, look for the Discord link, and there's a link that will take you there. Here comes a dog. I'll have to get up and close the door. Irashaimase. Hold on. He'll come up here in a second. I'll have to make room for him. Come on in. Irashaimase. Go ahead and settle down. Good boy. All right. Good life. My 7 objectives are as follows. Number 1 is to always be ready for death. To have my affairs in order, my relationships sound, and my life's work, if not complete, in a ready state. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of my time, to not waste my days or fritter them away, but to be well engaged, not rolling Sisyphus stones up a mountain. Number 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, namely those that are part of the Good Life Creed, and to tinker with them every day. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to become the kind of man who reacts well to life and the circumstances and challenges I meet. Next is to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I'm engaging with reasonable ambitions and not forwarding myself into territory where I no longer belong or I never could reach. And then lastly, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Next come my 34 principles. Soon to be 35. I have a 35th in mind, but I haven't got quite yet to the point of putting it into the creed. Oh well. That's part of the thing about being always ready to die. I need to get it in there. I guess I'm not really ready to die until I complete the creed with the addition of the new principle. Although I still don't know that it'll be complete. It seems to always be changing, but that's all right. My first principle is the principle of war. To always be fighting against whatever I already think is true and any proposition that comes my way, wanting to be held as true. Number 2 is the principle of reason and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt, and humiliation, which are the characteristics of a reasonable human being. 3, the homunculus, the reminder that though I do not have a soul, I do have a consciousness. 4, the anchor hold, yes. The home where the homunculus lives within this animated body of mine, and a reminder that the homunculus will die with me, that what happens to my body, so too happens to my homunculus. In fact, the homunculus can be wounded and disabled and fall away long before I die. As witnessed just a few videos back with the one where I had a bad day and I wasn't feeling good, and definitely I was not at the 4. Next is the principle of purpose. No, the home of good and evil. A reminder that right and wrong are subjective, that there is no absolute right or wrong pervading the universe, that this is just an opinion. Whatever I hold to be right and wrong, good or evil, are opinions that I maintain. I have to be careful to develop them well and to work with others to come up with agreements about what constitutes right, wrong, good, evil, etc. Right and wrong simply being the correct and incorrect things to do in accord with the improvement of virtue in society, and evil and good being the willful committing of acts in either of those directions. Next is the principle of purpose. And my three purposes are to be a good husband and father, that's one. Two, to be a virtuous man, pursuing virtue, or virtue is defined as efforts to improve the well-being of thinking creatures. And three is to pursue whatever personal ambition I have as my own purpose and decided purpose. And that is, for me, the continued sharing of my story going along. Next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces. And then the principle of nature. Everyone and everything has some particular nature. And then the pirate ride. It's the proposition that free will is an illusion. We feel like we're making choices, but really we are just reacting to the universe around us, being jostled in the direction of perhaps least resistance. Not necessarily fated, though certainly in accord with the great machinations of the universe around us. Next comes maturity and the sub-principles of wisdom, fortitude, and integrity. We are mature when we wisely remember our past successes and failures, have the strength and resolve to do better, and then enjoy a life of integrity where our results are in accord with our values. And then comes the social principle. We are social creatures. We need each other. And our best ends, our social ends. And then the principle of family. It's good to have a family. As Neil said, or as described by the narrator in Neil's, then some foundation. There's another paragraph I'll read you that I found stunning. So much so that I included it in the book, in Going Alone. I'm really moving fast through this one. Where is it? Goodness, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. This is when Neil's, after failure time and again with women, and as an artist, decides that he's going to go back to simplicity. He says, he could not bear the indifference of life any longer, could not endure being cast off and thrown back on himself again and again. No home on earth, no God in heaven, no goal out there in the future. He would at least have a home. He would make it his own by loving everything there, big and little, every rock, every tree, the animate and the inanimate. He would portion out his heart to it all so that it could never cast him off anymore. Basically summarizes my book right there. So he was heading back and also creating a family of sorts, which can be either, this type of family or the family of the people that you create around us. Next comes, the next principle is purpose? No. Social principle, family. What is next? Have I forgotten? Hold on. I got myself all out of sorts. All of these principles and objectives are laid out here in the book, in the chapter called The Good Life. The pirate ride, the principle of maturity, the social principle, the principle of family. Oh, public speaking, of course. Public speaking suggests that we be very careful in our listening and our speaking and our communication in general. The sub-principles here are best words, having a rich and deep vocabulary and choosing the right words for our occasion, not showy or flowery, but apt. Prudence, the ability to filter our communication through our values. Felicity, the ability to season our communication with our emotion. Eloquence, something that comes of practice and modeling. Literature, the field, the rich, fertile field from which good communication can sprout. And then finally, rumor and gossip, two negative things to be avoided. I think I can go the rest of the way. Temperance is next. The ability to control our consumption in life of all things. The sub-principles there are suffering, simplicity, and apathy, because we suffer when we tell ourselves no. And a simple life is a temperate life. And apathy is our willed constraint to deny ourselves what isn't right for us, even though it may taste or seem delicious. Next comes, life will not go well. Life's going to be hard. The horror show is next. Sometimes life will be horrific. That which must be borne. We have to bear the fact that life will not go well and the fact of the horror show to the best of our ability. The Feast of Offal. To not engage in the distribution of our upset on the innocents around us, but to hold it in and to bear it and expend it in other ways, using self-discipline, temperance. Next comes distraction. Something that we do so that we don't have to see that the universe is empty, that there is no God, which is the great indifference, the yawning emptiness of the universe. Even mentioned briefly just then in that passage I read. The best seat in the house. To be all right with who I am and where I am and what I'm doing right here, right now, right who. The restless man. That feeling that we have that some other life awaits. The path of wildness, the juncture, and heading off into that world. The great life adventure, the yield and the gain and the loss that comes of a great life adventure, of stepping upon the path of wildness and moving forward. The risk of avoiding risk, the consequence of too much adventure and too little adventure. The sin and damnation. There are 7 sins in my worldview, all related to, mostly, to belief and founding belief on bad evidence. These are falsity, being untrue, credulity, believing things too readily, faith, believing things when we're founded on belief, founding our belief upon the belief itself, which is nonsense, superstition, another form of nonsense, dogma, belief founded upon tradition and history, authority, belief founded upon the charisma and being impressed by others or other institutions, and then rumor and gossip again, being very negative things. Complete oblivion, a reminder that after death, there will be no afterlife to follow. We won't see our loved ones again, no final reunion, no chance to reconcile differences because we won't be around, they won't be around, and no final justice because once we're dead, that's the end of us forever. So it seems. Next comes prudence. Is that right? Or maybe the season of philosophy. Let's check. The season of philosophy, right? Time of life to record whatever words, one thing at a time. To record whatever words may come. Keep the pen and paper handy. Script writing, the ability to think ahead in days, in hours, minutes, hours, days even, to plan out and forecast in our mind how we're going to engage with the world. Bullseye aim, a reminder not to expect to hit the mark all the time. The uphill climb, hoping to, and planning and working to finish the day at an improved elevation in life. No more goal than that. What I mean is that there's no more yield than that. No more goal. It doesn't go any deeper than just that climb itself. Arena and utility. Life is this arena where we live and we keep our principles handy as the tools to get through the day. The bullseye aim. I know I already covered that one. And nothing is enough. A recommendation towards simplicity. And finally, the principle of fun. A reminder to have a fun time. And also to remember the fun times of yesterday and to plan for the good times to come. Sounds like a beer commercial. That's it. Now to plan for today. I'll finish this, upload this, type out my words, read the Bible, let the dogs out, feed the dogs, do my journal, finish, and then get started on the day in earnest. Hard day of work ahead of me, and I'll do a good day of work. I have one big issue that I'm tackling at work, and I've got the meetings in place to handle that, so I should be okay. Should be able to, and I've got clean green light to leverage existing meetings to that end. That should be okay. I'm going to stay calm and collected, and I can't keep the camera on in my meetings. Look it dead in the eye, so to speak, and do my work. That's it. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. And with that, my life is done, if not finished. See ya.